So our terrain looks pretty nice, but it's kind of bland. It's like one color. So let's go ahead and fix that. I don't want it to have that appearance. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my terrain. And now I'll bring up the inspector, my terrain tools. I'm going to go ahead and paint the terrain. Instead of raise and lower, I'm going to go ahead and paint a texture. So when you choose that option, that paint texture, you can edit the texture layers and you can create like a palette of colors you want to paint with. So you can get as many of these textures as you want. You can look for seamless textures on the web. Make sure they're fair use. So don't use a texture in your game that you don't have permission to use. So make sure that it is a texture you can use. For just practice and playing around with, you can use them all you want, but as long as you're not selling it or trying to make profit off of it or trying to claim it as your own work. So if you're using textures, make sure that it's open source, fair use. You have permission to use it. Okay, so we're going to click on Edit Terrain Layers, and I'm going to create a layer. And when you do that, I can make this a little bit wider. You're going to choose something that's a good texture. So the brick height is probably not a good one. Bricks is really if it doesn't look like ground. The ones that look like trees aren't good either, and the buttons. But then again, you can have a really wonky game and maybe it looks cool that way, but generally you want something like Cliff Albedo, like this is a good one. And then, for example, these grasses right here aren't good, but the Grass Hills Albedo and the Rocky is good. So you can see the ones that from above, it looks like you could just tile it over and over again. If you tile this one over and over again, you would see this, you wouldn't see it from the side. It would look kind of weird. So you want to look at the ones that look really good top down. So actually, I'm going to do Grass Rocky. And I'm going to edit the layers. I'm going to create another layer. And I probably need some sand. Let's see. So sand albedo. I'm going to edit the terrain layer. I'm going to create a layer. And I'm going to do cliff albedo. I'm going to edit the terrain layer. I'm going to create another layer. I don't think I have this one, the grass hill. Alright, so I got all these to work with. So I'm going to start with this rocky one. I'm going to click on that. And then you'll notice you have your brush. If you scroll down, you have all the brush. I can go ahead and paint those cliffs on. Now I might have to click on the opposite side. Make sure I get all sides of this cliff. But I'm going to go ahead and paint where I want that. Now in the older versions of Unity, so if you used Unity before, you might notice that it's acting a little bit different. So it used to be the first texture you chose was the default. Now we have this basic texture, and then we're just modifying. When I'm ready to change, I'm going to go ahead and click on this, like a different texture. So I'm going to click on my sand. And I'm actually going to bump my brush size up quite a bit. And kind of, whoops. Let's go down just a little bit. All right, it's a masterpiece. So go ahead and kind of play around with painting your terrain. When you're done painting, we're going to look at adding a few other things. So we're actually going to add a character, and we're going to add some trees and some other stuff.